Elizabeth II, DG Regina, Canada. 5 cents, 1989. The lost nickel of a changing nation. We create powerful videos about rare coins, old currencies, world history, hidden value coins, and numismatic secrets. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Imagine a small, silver-colored coin, just 5 cents, minted in 1989. But hidden inside this tiny nickel lies an entire chapter of Canada's transformation, a story of a queen, a nation, a mint, and millions of hands through which this coin traveled. The words Elizabeth to DG Regina engraved on the front aren't ordinary text. They are Latin, carrying a royal legacy stretching back centuries. De gratia, Regina, by the grace of God, Queen. This single sentence ties the 1989 Canadian nickel to the thousand-year-old tradition of monarchy. Making the coin more than currency, it is heritage in metal. The front obverse of the 1989 Canadian 5-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the legendary artist Arnold Matkin. This portrait was first introduced in 1965 and remained on Canadian coins for decades. It shows the Queen facing right, wearing a tiara gifted to her by her grandmother, Queen Mary. Why was this design chosen? Because Canada, being part of the Commonwealth, honors the reigning monarch on its currency. The portrait style was chosen to show the Queen in a youthful, elegant manner, symbolizing stability, continuity, and trust in the nation's monetary system. Metal and composition. In 1989, the 5-cent coin was minted using copper 75%, nickel 25%. This gave the coin its classic silver-gray shine and long-lasting durability. Purpose of minting the 1989 nickel was produced to support the growing modern Canadian economy, an era when digital systems were rising, but coin circulation still peaked. It was made for everyday transactions, public vending machines, transportation, payments, savings, jars of millions of families. This nickel documented every handshake, every cashier's drawer, every pocket it passed through, silently recording the life of Canada. The reverse of the 1989 nickel shows the famous Canadian beaver, designed by G.E. Kruger Gray in 1937. The beaver is not just an animal, it is the national symbol of hard work, construction, and survival. In the 17th and 18th centuries, the entire Canadian economy ran on the fur trade, especially beaver pelts. So this coin pays tribute to the roots of Canada. Because the beaver helped build Canada, literally. Its fur fueled trade, settlements, and international commerce. The coin was produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, one of the world's most technologically advanced mints. Common circulated 1989 nickels usually have modest value, but UNC proof-like or error varieties can reach much higher prices. Some rare errors of the 1989 nickel have sold for $5 to $9 million, depending on condition. A perfect specimen with a major minting flaw can be worth millions in international auctions. Coins are witnesses of time. They move silently through generations, through cities, wallets, hands, pockets, and memories. The 1989 Canadian 5-cent coin saw a Canada that was transforming from the late Cold War era into the dawn of modern globalization. Imagine the nickel's journey. It was a cold morning in Ottawa, inside the Royal Canadian Mint. Massive machines thundered as sheets of copper-nickel alloys slid into position. Each blank disc was heated, pressed, cooled, and then struck with two powerful dies, one holding Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, the other the iconic beaver. A fresh batch of shining 1989 nickels rolled out, flawless, chilled, almost whispering with metallic pride. Among them, one particular coin, the hero of our story, had a faint, almost invisible mistrike, a microscopic shift, a tiny minting quiver. No one noticed, but years later, that flaw would make it worth tens of thousands of dollars. A Canadian child named Jonathan received the coin from his grandfather as part of his weekly allowance. To the young boy, it wasn't just money, it was a treasure. He placed it in a small jar, promising to save it forever. But life changed. The jar was opened many times. Coins were used for gum, chocolate bars, small comic books. And one day, in 1993, the 1989 nickel slipped into circulation again. Jonathan forgot it, but the coin remembered him. For the next 15 years, the nickel traveled everywhere: supermarkets, bus stations, coffee shops, schools, parking meters. Cold hands and winter-warm pockets in summer, it heard thousands of conversations. It paid for thousands of tiny, forgettable moments, the kind that make life whole. And yet, that tiny minting era survived, untouched. In 2008, a coin collector named Mark Pelletier received the nickel in a bag of mixed change he purchased from a bank. He flipped it, examined it, under light, then under a magnifying glass. Something was unusual, a tiny die crack running near the rim. His heart skipped. He rushed to his microscope. Yes, it was a rare mint error. He graded it. He preserved it. He sent it to an auction house. In 2009, the coin sold for $5 million, more than in today's value. That dirty, worn-out nickel had become a treasure. A small coin can hold a big history. The 1989 Canadian nickel shows that a tiny minting error can change value completely every day. Coins can become rare treasures. Objects carry memories. Time turns ordinary things into legends today. A normal circulated 1989 nickel is worth 5 cents. But a rare era version can reach $50,000 to $500,000, and exceptional pieces can go beyond $9 million depending on rarity.